have noticed, there have been quite a few owl rescues lately, and others being found injured and brought in. So, why? Let's check in to see how 2 of these recently admitted owls are doing, get some updates on their care, and hear from one of our wildlife rehabilitators, Ciara, to touch on what work goes into restoring an owl's health so they can return to the wild.
So comparative to the summer, we do tend to get more owls in the winter. So it could be a combination of that there's a lot more owls around because of the increased food resources that are down south in our area compared to up north where they usually are during the summer, versus like the environment. It's more sparse, so you're able to pinpoint these owls more. They're no longer like in large foliages of beautiful luscious trees, which makes it even harder to find them when they camouflage. You could notice them on the floor with a bright snow if it's like a screech owl or a barred owl, like they just stand out more against the snow.
This short-eared owl was thankfully seen by someone who called TWC to help. She ended up needing orthopedic surgery as she suffered a humerus fracture, likely after being hit by a car. The veterinary team successfully performed the surgery and continued her treatment plan until they deemed her fracture stable and the external fixator could be removed. But that's not the end of her recovery journey.
Look at this range of motion. That's amazing. He's so naked.
So the rehab and the vet team work hand in hand a lot with each other, especially when it comes to these fracture cases, mainly because after they're medically cleared and their fracture is stable, rehab mainly takes over to focus on their husbandry and care so that they can improve and fly again. So we do a gradual increase of space, so we'll upgrade them into larger and larger spaces so that they can practice and exercise that wing, recondition those muscles. And so near the final steps, while we had her in care, we had her in one of our large raptor aviaries so that she could exercise her wing. She's able to use it functionally, but she needs to work it out more and recondition. We got her in an exercise plan, so we would encourage her to fly a certain number of lengths to make sure that she is exercising and using that wing.
On top of muscle reconditioning, overseeing diet and eating habits as well as daily care, the rehabilitation team will sometimes perform treatments such as laser therapy.
So what is laser therapy? We typically use LED laser therapy, which is a continuous beam of like a red light at a certain wavelength that our vets help determine what wavelength we should be using and for the duration of how long we want to be using it on this certain area. For our short-eared owl, we are using it to help promote feather growth because they had a surgery site, they had to pluck a lot of feathers, and the space was bare and we weren't seeing a lot of feather growth. Red light helps regenerate cells. It promotes blood circulation in that area, which also helps promote cell growth and like repair. So because she had such a bare spot of lack of feathers, she was going to be in care for a prolonged period of time, even with the laser therapy helping promote feather growth. We have a limited amount of space that we have here at TWC, and because of the timing, we're getting in a lot of raptors and other owls. So we wanted to ensure that she had the appropriate time and we weren't pushing her out. So we contacted our friends at the Owl Foundation and they were able to take her, and so she can get the necessary time to heal, grow those feathers, and eventually be released.
Ultimately, every case is different, and the rehabilitation team are always working to adapt and address each and every patient's individual needs.
So we get in owls for a number of different reasons. Because of the instances that they can be found in, their time of care can vary from a couple of months to a few days, depending on the degree of injury. And differences between species, we want to make sure that we're giving them appropriate husbandry, so their perches will change. Also, if they're cavity dwellers, like screech owls, we'll want to give them like a nice den box that they can squeeze into. We start them off small and then we slowly graduate them to make sure that they're receiving the appropriate care based off like their meditation, how they are improving.
Here we have a long-eared owl who was rescued after being found trapped inside a TTC subway station. Thankfully, no serious injuries were found, and after several days of rehabilitation, gaining his strength back and moving from a small space to a large aviary, he was ready for release.
There's always a moment as I'm opening their carrier to let them out, that I'm just holding my breath, being like, this is it. And when we finally open that door and see them shoot out and fly away, it's just a sigh of relief knowing that we've done the work, that we've helped this patient recover to their full capabilities. It's just a very happy feeling.
If you like our videos, please subscribe to our channel and make sure you hit the bell to be notified when we share new content. We would also love if you shared this video with a friend.